And if you slander, calumniate the true prophets and accuse them of dishonesty and false teaching, and claim that their teaching of truth, their teaching of spirit, their teaching of life is forbidden through the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, then provide evidence and witnesses for this. But you cannot do this, because if you bring forth evidence against the truth, then it is full of lies, since there is no evidence against the truth, and if you bring witnesses against the truth, then they are making a false testimony, false oath, against the truth, and thereby bear witness themselves that they are speaking a false testimony, false oath, and only following the cravings of those who are lying against the signs, evidence of the truth, and believe it to be machinations of unfairness or responsibility, because they equate the real truth with evil in their limitedness and intellect. But listen to what the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation teaches, and what is to be presented to you, so that you may understand what is rightful and what is non-rightful. You shall not place anything at the side of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation. And you shall also honor your parents and do good things to them, and you shall not kill your children, not out of poverty, not in strife, not out of jealousy, not out of revenge and retribution, not because you are waging battles, wars, and not either because you would prefer to have sons rather than daughters, or would prefer to have daughters rather than sons, also not from any reasons whatever they may be. Rather look after them rightfully, as you also look after yourselves, and you shall not approach the terrible. Do nothing terrible, whether it is open, public, or concealed, and you shall not either kill any other life of people of your kind, human beings, because life is made through the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, such that it shall be inviolable by people of your kind, human beings, except through the right, when demanded by defense and extremist self-defense, because you must protect your life, and killing people of your kind, human beings, is not permitted to you either through battle, war, or through a judgment of the authority or the jurisdiction, or through a kangaroo court revenge, or through a law of honor created by people of your kind, human beings, because such killing is degeneracy against all laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation. This is what is recommended to you, so that you may understand it. And do not approach the possessions of orphans. Do not appropriate for yourselves the possessions of orphans, except if you are using the possessions for the best outcome of the orphans until they have grown out of youth, come of age, and can themselves decide over the possessions. And if you sell anything, then give full measure and weight in equitableness, approval, fairness, and do not impose on people of your kind, fellow human beings, more. Do not demand more than they are able to bear. Pay, and this shall apply in commerce as well as in sagacity, intellect, and with regard to admonishment, conscience. And when you make a judgment, then practice equitableness, fairness, so that no one is advantaged and no one disadvantaged, even if it is someone from your own clan, family, from your relatives, or from your friends. And you shall always retain the bond agreement with the truth, so that you may always be admonished and may take the right path. Learn everything of the teaching of the true prophets, and go forth and announce that this is the true way, the straight one, the right one. Follow this way and not the other paths, so that you are not led far astray by them into the darkness of inequity, unfairness, and unknowledgeness of the truth. This is what is recommended to you through the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, so that you enable yourselves to protect yourselves from evil. And again, you receive the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life through the true prophets, so that you may fulfill it and gain goodness for yourselves when you do good deeds. Learn from the teaching of the prophets about the clarity of all things, and form from it the leadership guidance for your life, so that you may always recognize the truth in all things and at all times, whether you meet it by day or in the night. And truly, the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life is full of boon, prosperousness, and fullness, gain, when you strive to follow it, and you guard yourselves against doing things that are evil, unfair, irresponsible, non-righteous, conscienceless, and non-rightful, and if you follow the truth, then you are creating benevolence for yourselves, and therefore you find in yourselves true love and consonance harmony, as well as peace and freedom. The teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life is given to you today, as it was also given to all peoples before you, but like those before you also say that you indeed had no tidings of its explanation. But truly these tidings have been given to you, therefore you only have to strive to understand it. The teaching of truth is given to you as already to your forefathers and foremothers, ancestors, forebears, but like those before you, you do not want to have yourselves led guided. Better through it, however, the true prophets give you today a clear proof of the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, through their teaching, so that you may finally understand it and follow the truth. However, you are unrighteous and reject the signs evidence of the truth and turn yourselves away from it. But those amongst you who turn yourselves away from the signs evidence, you will have a miserable existence and will serve yourselves with punishment in return, because you will not find any true love or freedom or any peace or consonance harmony in yourselves. Do not wait for liberators, angels, to come down from gods or tin gods to bring you help if you supplicate and wail to them, because they are without truth forms invented by lies, which cannot give any signs evidence. And if signs apparent evidence happen which you demand through your belief assumptions in gods and tin gods, then the signs apparent evidence are only hallucinations, delusional constructions that you form as pictures of deception, delusions of the brain, through the might of your inner world consciousness. Therefore your belief in gods and tin gods serves you no purpose, because as fabulated, invented, and substantialities, they bring you neither disadvantage, loss, damage, nor advantage, benefit. And truly, if you are split not firm in the truth, then you easily fall away from it and turn yourselves to a belief assumptions, as you fall prey to godliness's religions, or sub-godliness's sex cults, and no longer have anything to do with the real truth. And if you are far from the truth and unfamiliar with it, then the untruth announces itself in you, and you fall prey to everything that is non-rightful, of non-right, of non-righteousness, consciencelessness, and virtuelessness. Therefore take heed that you turn to the truth and do good deeds, because these will be rewarded to you tenfold. If, however, you perpetrate evil deeds, then you will receive the same reward in evil and suffer under its non-right. See, the true prophets walk on the right and straight path which is given by the truth of the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, and truly, they are the upright ones who do not pray to any gods or tin gods or any people of your kind, human beings, and do not let themselves be subjugated, placed in bondage. The true prophets have no one next to them to whom they bow or pray. Instead they are surrounded by true friends, by man and woman and child, who recognize their love and kind-heartedness to all creatures, life forms, and try to do the same as them, as they are the ones who follow the true prophets on the right and straight path and do not allow themselves to be led into confusion through the false teachings of false prophets, priests, and all the servants of gods and servants of tin gods. Truly, no other truth can be sought except for the real truth which is given through the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation, and through its appearance nature. And no one amongst you and no other creature life form can act without the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation. Therefore none of you can act against or in favor of themselves or against or in favor of others, because everything is directed, regulated, through the laws and recommendations, so that a certain condition cause brings about a certain decision, effect equals cause and effect. And see, the true prophets instruct you in these things because you are disunited in yourselves and amongst one another, so that you may become knowing, conscious, and wise, and that it may go well with you by you heeding and following the laws and recommendations of the primal wellspring of all vitality's creation.